Hi guys, Dr. Lester here, and today we're going to continue our conversation on blood sugar, and this one we're going to hit is fasting. So this is a pretty significant area in diabetes and blood sugar management, and it's very, very controversial. So fasting is really, it's controlled starvation. So there's a lot of evidence both ways in support and against this. So I want to try and break it down a little bit for you. Your body doesn't super understand it's either food or no food. I can either find food as a caveman or I can't find food as a caveman. So that's how it processes it. It doesn't say like, oh, I'm going to control not food. No, your body doesn't really register that because that's not how we were originally designed, right? So food or not food, that's where we're at. With fasting, it's super similar to starvation in all of the ways, and the idea is beautiful in terms of its simplicity. So we're actually hitting the problem of blood sugar. There's too much blood sugar, so I'm going to take away the food until the cells are hungry again. Once the cells are hungry, then they'll start listening for that dinner bell of insulin, and they will start taking the food back up, or the sugar out of the bloodstream. And once they do that, then the blood sugar will be more managed. We're addressing insulin resistance because they're actually listening to it again, and that is beautiful. The problem is that you are putting the body into a state where it doesn't understand if there is food or isn't food consistently, especially if you're doing this for prolonged amounts of time. And this is a key factor in people who do fasting without talking to a doctor first that knows what they're talking about. Because doing it too long, your body goes into starvation mode. Now, there's one extra step in fasting. So once the blood sugar is out of the bloodstream, we're hoping that it gets to break down fat, right? Because that's a lot of the reasons why people go do fasting is blood sugar management, but also to lose weight, right? So we wanted to go break down fat, but the problem is that breaking down fat has costs to it, okay? So let me put it this way. Fat is all of these little pieces of glucose that are strung together in long strings of what are called glycogen, and then they're vacuum sealed into this little packet called fat. And that fat is stored wherever it's stored. And then your body has to go get into that, right? So into that packet again. So what it's going to have to do is it's going to have to bring scissors, and it's going to have to stab open that packet. And now sorry, I got distracted because my laundry's done. So now that packet is going to be torn and no longer be usable, right? So let's think of that as a waste product that is created by releasing that. And maybe go one step further, like maybe we had to put some sort of, I don't know, fluid in there, like kind of like how you have liquid in cans, like the canned food, you have to put liquid in it, right? To like keep it stable for a long period of time. So let's say you had to put some liquid in it, and that's like also a waste product. So you get a lot of waste products from this, and these waste products are actually super acidic. And so as these waste products are floating around, because we were breaking down fat, right? These waste products are floating around, they're actually making your body more acidic. And your body is super sensitive to the pH level inside of it, specifically your nerves. So your nerves are very finicky, they like a certain pH. And once you start getting out of that, you start seeing nerve dysfunction. So you might start seeing things like dysfunction in vision, or how you talk, or how you move. You might feel numbness, tingling, that kind of thing. You might lose sensation in those things altogether because now your nerves are freaking out. All sorts of things. But the nerves get very, very fussy about it being too acidic. And now we've released all of this acidic byproduct, and your body has to get rid of it. And to get rid of it, you see it coming out in the urine, and you see that as ketones. Now, this is an okay process if it is very short. Now, here is the problem with fasting. Fasting is rarely done appropriately, rarely. And this is, I guess, my biggest beef with it. first, you have to be super careful that you are managing your blood sugar just right, so you're not dropping way too low and then spiking way too high, because it could easily take you into a rebound category if you're doing it inappropriately. You have to hit it at approximately the right time, so where you eat again, and then you have to eat the right foods to sustain you during that time and not encourage the blood sugar dysregulation process like the spikes and the drops. So you have to eat the right foods. And then on top of all of that, my favorite one is people who do intermittent fasting. They tend to do the same thing every day. And so, like, let's say, oh, well, I'm just not going to eat until, 3 p.m. and then I'm only going to eat from 3 to 6, and then, then I'll fast again or whatever. Well, first of all, that's kind of extreme. Second of all, blood sugar management should definitely start with eating breakfast, because it's a super important way to continue managing blood sugar throughout the day. So you should really start with breakfast for sure. So you already threw that off. And then on top of that, the whole point of intermittent is that it varies, right? So if you do the same thing every single day, like where it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you are fasting, like I said, from 2 to 6 every single day, and your body is gonna get used to that. And it's going to realize that we gotta store all of these calories during the 2 to 6 time frame, because we're not gonna eat. It's gonna get used to that. And people do this for very long periods of time. It drives me crazy. The whole point of intermittent fasting is to break the body, to break the cycle that the body is in. So you wanna break the plateau a little bit, like how you would do with exercising. So you trick it. So you want to do, like, one day I'm going to do from 2 to 6. The next day I'm going to do only in the morning, it's just going to be from like 8 to 12. Then the next day it's going to be just overnight. The next day I'm going to eat a good amount of food. The next day I can probably, go back to midday or whatever. You change it every day. It's got to be intermittent. And that is really the key to fasting, and to doing it well as choosing the right foods and the appropriate amount of time for you. This is not a one size fits all, and it drives me crazy that people do this as a one size fits all, because it's really, really unhealthy. This is really playing with something that can, if it spikes or if it drops too low, can really put you into some danger if you do them inappropriately. So with all of that said, speak to your doctor, or at least someone who actually knows about fasting, and talk to them about what kind of fasting is right for you, what you should be eating, when you should be eating, and make sure that you constantly are getting checked up on that. Because if not, and you're starting to have these blood sugar dysregulation spikes up and down, even if you are seeing a little bit of a balance in the insulin resistance, that doesn't mean that your blood sugar is necessarily managed well. So it's super important to have somebody watch those things, and also making sure that they really, really understand them, because unfortunately this is a conversation that a lot of people speak on, and I can't even tell you how many people I hear talk about fasting, and we have to have this conversation about what are you doing for fasting, what is intermittent to you, and what are you eating, when are you eating it, and it just drives me crazy. So if you haven't gotten tired of this rant yet, hopefully that helped. But definitely talk to somebody about it, because it's super important. Thanks, guys.